Good afternoon. Our story will kind of pick up one of the statements from previous speaker. The previous speaker said that there's a huge space where the private sector can come in and help public administration to make some good services for the society. And this is the Latvian case which we want to present you today. Well, the mission of public administration, in a few words, is to make life easier for the people and to gain efficiency for public administration. The key thing in our case is that government is not always the best positioned to do the services, and if we can find good model how we can work together with the private sector, it's a win-win situation. And now the floor is to Normans, please. Show.
Yeah, thank you for those who are sitting here. It's our obligation to do that presentation for every single person who decided to spend his time to come and listen to that. So thank you very much for being here. And yes, I will tell you a story how government can make very much sophisticated, I would say world-class IT solution without spending a single cent on it. So, and we are pretty proud of that project. First, I don't know, you try to read that statement, so it's a pretty complex sentence from some official commission paper, which is supposed to state how much commission is caring about its citizens and IT. And here is translation of it. And it's very funny. I'm showing those few slides, I think, in somewhat like fifth conference, and I always had the same reaction when I send that presentation. Then in a few days I have a phone call or email which says that, hey, Norman, you have a very nice presentation, but slide number 3 is corrupt. We deleted it from presentation, but please send us a right one. So this is a right slide, and it just shows that, in fact, without a proper examples and without a proper explanation, all that nice and correct official commission's language or official governmental language is reading like this from general public, because in fact we do not understand what we can expect out of it and what we should do. So it's really pretty cryptographic, and I'm just now will try to tell you real life example problem which is solved currently in Latvia. So subsidies are very widespread in all of European countries, and not European, by the way. So it's in a very different forms. It's going throughout all developed and also developing world. So there are countless forms how public administration is trying to break the market forces, is trying to redistribute wealth for their citizens. So in Europe, I think there are I will name probably 3 main groups. So one is transport. Transport is subsidized in all possible forms throughout all Europe. The same is fact in food. So starting from elderly, disabled, school children, so you can find again very different forms and formulas, how local governments, different charities, and also government, state is subsidizing food for its citizens. And of course, medicine. It's the same. Being that visit to your doctor, being operation, and of course pills, and of course medicine. So there is no real market there. So all of that is subsidized in one or another way. Problem being that at least until this moment, public administration is subsidizing the bus company, not the citizen. It's subsidizing canteen, not citizen, and is subsidizing medicine manufacturer or apothec, not the citizen. Why? Because it's pretty much costly and complex. Technically, you could, just give €2 every time for a person who comes to you and says that I want to pay for those pills, but simply administration is too expensive. Not anymore. And the idea to make that new service was based on pretty obvious thing, is that we said that, hey, instead of subsidizing that bus company or that apothec, let's give money to real person who needs that, right? And nice thing is that technology is right there. It's now. It's quite a new, but it's established and standard-based enough. And so we are using existing bank infrastructure, and we are using that fact that, okay, it's already 2 years ago, but there is a worldwide standard for contactless credit card payments. So you have a hardware and you have a banks. And this is not a paper project. We already did a pilot, and this pilot is running for third year. So there is a small town of Jelgava, which is like 65,000 people. Now it's more, it's expanded to the region, which is 100,000 plus. But what we did, we gave those bank contactless credit cards for each of school kids with the two services. One is public transport, and another is food in school canteens. And we got extremely surprising results that, in fact, already next day, there was about 30% savings in the system. So we realized that when you turn the subsidy from the bus company to the actual person who used that bus, there are 30% less money needed to support that service. How does it come from? What is the source? It's not that easy when you dig down, because in reality, there are three sources. Two are pretty much obvious. One is cheating from driver's side, because how that worked in the past. So a person who has some sort, who is eligible for some sort of subsidy, shows to the driver some paper-based document. I'm a school kid, or I'm a disabled person. And driver looks at this paper, pushes the button, and prints that zero amount ticket. And then at the end of the month, bus company is counting those zero money tickets and then submitting to the local government that, hey, I provided that service to X amount of citizens, please pay me for that. So First is that driver, unfortunately, is how to put it in the best way. So he is not always very exact when he pushes that zero ticket. Sometimes he pushes that button for zero ticket just for his friend. You know, he just did a good job. That's nothing bad in it. Sometimes he takes the money, but pushes the wrong button. So mistakes happen. Second thing is that, and this is about 10% of the volume. Another 10% comes from that paper-based document, because it's so much easier to put that in a copy machine. And if there are more people, really that bus driver cannot distinguish, you know, is it yours, is it your picture, or is it not? It's just, you know, next, 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 he pushes that button, and this is it. And this is another 10% of turnover. And third, what was very surprising, that in fact, that bus company got by 10% more traffic because they had more customers. And reason being that if that school kid has that credit card, it is very easy for them to use that service. Just when bus comes, he jumps in, puts that card against the reader and gets a ticket. As an opposite of the old system, where it was not 100%, so it's also worth to note that there is not always 100% subsidies. So in our Jelgava case, it's 50% subsidy, which means that that kid have to have that cash money in his pocket in order to buy. It still has to buy, subsidized cheap ticket, but it has to buy. And if there is a money, you can use it in many different ways, right? So, okay, first of all, it's possible that you don't have that money in your pocket. And if you have it, you can buy an ice cream or go to cinema or what's not. So they are not using that service. Once you are giving them easy and convenient way to pay for that, they are using it. So in fact, at the end of the day, even bus company, even bus owner, was very happy about such a solution, because they got more customers. So, yeah, this is what that slide is saying. That was very surprising for us. In the catering, it was pretty simple. Simply, system showed that on general, those catering companies are writing off about 10% of food than reality those kids eat. So again, it was very, very nice saving for school district. And as a result, what they did, they extended that free lunch for one class more, for one class of holders. So they were getting very nice political dividends of the same money. How does it work? I think it's very self-explanatory. So you just put the standard contactless credit card readers, and you distribute almost standard contactless credit cards, because the new credit cards allow you to write into the chip different additional applications. So you just use standard credit card application and add one more, which is for local loop payment. And then we were having simply online transaction system, which analyzes each transaction which is coming out from that POS terminal. If that is general credit card, it goes general route. If that is subsidized credit card, it makes an online transaction. It puts together needed money from every donor, takes the rest of amount, if needed, from the bank holder's account, and pays immediately to the service company. So this is all online, real-time accounting. And all involved means that person sees exactly every day how much money it gets from his loved government, local government charity. Each of the governments shows exactly to whom and for what service they are paid. And even bus company knows and sees who is using their service from which point to which point, so they can do a much better planning of their resources. Current situation is that we now have countrywide legislation adopted, and now we are in the process of first step of introducing that system for public transport all around the Latvia. So it's the deadline is January January the 1st next year, and then during the next year we will have transition process. So and our attitude is very simple. So just do a pilot in Latvia and copy paste worldwide. So the need is there, the bank infrastructure is there, and this is totally commercial project. So the legal person who is doing that service is a bank, and there is just one database provider who is having agreement with the bank is that transaction processing. This is it. So there was zero investment from state. Only thing was to put the competitive legislation which says that there can be as many banks as they wish to participate in that. They have to just provide the 3 services to issue those credit cards to the population, to put standard credit card readers in the merchant's place, being that bus, catering, etc., and to provide interconnection on equal basis. Means that in every place where you go, it's just like standard credit card infrastructure, that regardless of which card you use, in every place where there is that card reader, so the system is working. And this is it. And there was just minor adjustments to few already existing state registers who keeps that information of persons who qualifies for which sort of subsidies. It's like extremely simple, extremely easy. It took us fighting for something like 3 years to get through that legislative process, so there was a lot of opposition because it forced totally to change the thinking, right? Because everybody thought, no, it will never work. It works. Come and see. Thank you very much. Questions?
I have a very short question. What about the healthcare system? You mentioned the doctors, the prescriptions, the pills. What about this part?
Our healthcare minister is first in line because it requires next set of legislation, because all those, it's not a technical problem. Technically, we can do that tomorrow, right? So it's legally. There are number of laws and even much more number of different special regulations, being that inside of the ministry, being that at the level of cabinet of ministers. So it's legalese, it's not technical. But yes, you are right. So healthcare is next in line. Yeah. We expect even more political battle over that.
And what about the traditional credit cards? Did you try to do that with traditional credit cards? It's still very widely used. For example, it would be in medicine, it would be probably more widely used than the wireless ones.
It's compatible. So the card reader is both. It's contactless and also contact. This is, again, this is fully transparent. This is standard credit card based. Means that you can go from anywhere in the world, put your credit card in that hole, enter a PIN number, and you will have your ticket. This is just a question, because in public transport, speed is critical. So therefore, contactless. But it's compatible, yeah? Yeah, it works. This is the beauty of the system, that there is no special standards, there is no proprietary code, so this is fully transparent. Yeah. It only is just recognizes that processing system process only those cards which qualify for certain sort of subsidies. All standard credit card goes straight the credit card processing way.
So what you did is basically you just developed software, that's right?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, it's commercial software, it's two ends, so there is one part of software in POS terminal itself, and then there is a pretty complex database, because the big trick here is to make it universal, because what the software can do is the easiest part is that as like a free ride, right, which says that whomever covers 100% of your ticket. But we started with that municipal case. There is much more rules and regulations. It's like there are two donors, one covering 20% of ticket, another covering 30% of ticket. Then there is a rule that each kid can use that transport just 2 times a day and just 5 days a week. So technically, the system allows to put very complex formulas, very different limitations per day, per week, per month, money-wise, usage-wise. So you can, because in real life, for instance, there are a number of municipalities subsidizing swimming pools for different groups of citizens, for different counts, and in different times of the day as well, right? So everything is possible to put in there. So there are a lot of improvement, a lot of different ways how you can use it. And not only, and as I said, it's not only for a public administration, you can use it in a commercial way. So big company can also put different subsidies or different nice things to the employees. It's all there.
Last question. What about, is it possible to cheat in a way, as I understand it works based on the person's account, the bank account, right? If you, for example, correct, if I'm a father and I put money on my daughter's card, I can use the card normally, and I mean with the discount, yes? And do you understand the question? If, for example, let's model a situation. If I'm a parent and I take my my children's card and I use public transport, right? And I get a discount ticket for it. Isn't it a loophole that actually anybody can use it?
Technically, yes. In reality, for those school kids, we are using personalized credit cards. So this is card with a photo. So you can check it. Also, control can check it. But yeah, you can cheat. But there are a number of control elements. So it's in any way, it's like the same, like that parent will come into bus with that kid's school certificate and ask, you know, for that discount ticket. So that is no different. It doesn't make it worse. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for attention. And if someone is interested, we are ready to provide that service.